Hey everybody, welcome back to Shots Life. This week we're working on the 1996 Dodge Ram 2500 V10. Hey, this week is going to be a good episode. We do the corrosion control. Remember, we did the fuel pump already. We do some corrosion control in the chassis. We get the bed back on, and then we start working on brakes. And yeah, it doesn't go so well. Yeah, you'll see what I mean in a few minutes. Hey, stick with me. It's always a good episode. Welcome to my life. I'm back on this truck. I haven't done really anything to it. I had sprayed the chassis, which you'll I'm sure is part of this video. So that was done. I needed to get this exhaust welded up. You know, it's broken off or whatever. So I'm probably gonna get a jack, lift that up, probably put a piece of metal on the back side of it, grind it down, and then weld it up on there. And then I'm probably just gonna put the bed back on it. I was gonna do brakes, but I can do brakes with the bed on it. I need to get the bed out of the way. I mean, it's just taking up space, right, that I need. So I'm probably going to do that and then try to get the bed back on there, onto the truck. And then I'll do brakes there later, sometime later. I just need it out of the way. I'd like to get it done because I'd like to start driving it again, but for now, I need to get the bed on it, get the bed out of the way, and that'll give me a little more space in here to maneuver. In order to get that bed out though, I got to move the Mustang and I got to move the trailer and yeah, all that. I probably could get in there though. If I came in this way, probably side turn, lift up the bed and then just back it up. Problem is that it needs to be on the other side of the truck, so I don't know. I don't know if yeah, that is interesting how I did that. If I move the trailer, I can just back up and bring it around and put it right on top of here. So probably what I'll do. So I'll need to pull all this out of here. I did take the dump truck out this morning just because it was supposed to thunderstorm on and off, and I didn't want the Z3 sitting outside. So the dump truck's out on the side of the building already, so it gives me a little more room. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I think I'm going to grind it down and get this thing fixed first, and then I'll worry about moving stuff around. And if all goes well at that point, then I'll weld this up. I also got to go back out and mow. I mowed the grass yesterday. It was like 100 and something degrees. Well, it was over 100 feel like, but it was 100 degrees. And so I don't know what I did. I like mowed half the front, you know, at an angle, and then I ran around, I guess, and did the back and around. I guess I ended up over here and then did the front. I never did finish the other half of the yard, so I thought I was done. I got up this morning and started walking down the thing, and I'm like, oh, I missed a spot. And my wife said, what spot did you miss? I was like, half the yard, you know, I mean, yeah. Anyway, I digress. Let's get this thing loaded up. right, fair enough. I think a lot of you are going to say those are ugly welds, and you'd be right. And probably a little overkill, but that's okay. I just need to keep that together so it quits falling down. So good enough. If you're a welder, like I do watch a couple welders on here, but if you're a welder, you wouldn't be wrong by saying that that was a terrible weld. It is what it is. You know, I need to get gas. Actually, I don't have any gas in my. I still haven't got gas in my my little welder there. So I'm doing it with flux core, and that never makes a pretty weld, but it's good enough. It'll hold an exhaust bracket. I'll let that cool off, and then I'll touch it up, the paint up on it, and then we'll go from there and get this bed put on here. In the meantime, while that's cooling, I'm going to go over and start moving stuff around so that I can get that bed out of there. Of course, I'll put all this stuff away too. So see you in a second. All right, it's been a busy day in the neighborhood, and I've been doing a bunch of other stuff, but I did get the trailer out. I moved the Mustang forward. I had taken the dump truck out earlier and just moved the Z3 over there. So I'll get the excavator now, and I'll come over, lift the bed, and then probably back up, pull the truck forward probably, as tight as I can anyway, and then we'll put the bed back on the truck, and we'll go from there. So that's kind of where I'm at. I will spray paint that little thing I welded here, so I'll probably just back out and just do it right outside there a little bit, get it sprayed up. It'll just be a little touch up, and yeah, then we'll get this bed on here. This should be interesting. Should be fun. All right, let's do this real quick. Get it together real quick. Let's do this. All right, that was pretty painless, I think. What I was fighting over here, if you're wondering what I was doing, why I had to lift it up again, this was still down, and I had to get it tucked in there before it went up, and I hadn't thought of that, so I had to get it put up there. It was just kind of hanging. So I got that straightened up. I just got to line it up, you know. I'll get the bolts in there and kind of push it around where it needs to be. I think it's pretty daggone close, to be honest with you. It looks like it may be just a little off, maybe a little too far forward on that side, or I'm not sure yet. We'll figure that out, and we'll get her bolted down. Of course, the bolt holes should help us, and then once we get them in the bolt holes, we'll leave it loose. We'll adjust the bed exactly how we want it, then we'll finish tightening it down. Then we'll hook up all the electrics, put the bolts back in the gas tank, and then put the tailgate back on, and we'll be in good shape. So all in all, I thought that went pretty daggone well, especially doing it as a one-man show without having my wife out here to steady me or anything. But you know, she's got a job, so she's in there working, so I'm trying not to disturb her. But yeah, so that's good. We came a long way. We came a long way today. I'm going to get up on there and get this thing bolted, I think. Remember, it's those 6 bolts, I think is what we had, right? 6. I'll have to find them. They're in a tray somewhere right here. So I'll get those, and we'll get those bolted up, and we'll go from there. All right, remembering that I put the bolts in this nice tray that my sister had got me, which has got a bunch of junk in it now that I need to clean up, because I am a wreck right now, let me tell you. Just trying to get that bus ready on the way out the door and all that stuff. I just made a mess, and haven't really been cleaning it like I should have been, that's for sure. I have literally got stuff everywhere. Just got to clean it up. Anyway, there's the bolts. I'll shut up and get underneath and get them in. All right. All right. I think I'm done screwing around and ready to put some bolts in. Yeah. All Lost my glasses, which I probably need so I don't get something on my face. What do you think? Safety people will probably get tired watching me pretty fast. Alright, it looks like we're pretty lined up actually. I don't know if you're going to be able to see under here or not. The hole is right there, so we may have shifted around a little bit, but they're lining up, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I'm just getting them in there. I'm not tightening them up because I want to adjust once I get it on there and get that final straight. All right. Bolt right there. And a bolt right here. And a bolt right there. And a bolt right there. Now I will come back under here with spray paint now that the frame's back on. I could have done it without the bed on here, but it doesn't really matter. But I'll come back in here and spray from this angle at some point. And there's a couple little spots that need to be re-hit, I'm sure, from this angle because we were spraying from up to down. But I always do it that way. That was the first time I sprayed from, well, that's the first time I sprayed from above to below, right? I always spray from down here above, so that's not a big deal. It's part of my normal deal. Oh, gotta move this one away from that a little bit. Nope, that did it. Good thing I got eye protection on. Yeah. All right, that one's in. Somebody's creeping up on us. You're gonna start talking and ruin my video shoot. Yes? Huh? Huh? Take you off camera. Alright, see you guys in a second. Alright, she didn't kill me. She just wanted to talk. Yeah. So I got this on here. I've been looking at straightness, right? And so I've got it lined up, like lined up on that line and this lined up on that line. And so, you know, I think I got a little bit out on the top of the cab there. And it's even here. So I could push the front over just a touch. But I don't want to go crazy. This one was duck here. This is the one that's got to go up there and over there. Alright, so those are in, the brake lights are in. This one goes over here. It's hard to see with that light coming in the door. Can't believe I'm complaining about too much light. And this one go together. No, that goes up here. Right there. It's gonna go over that into there, and that plugs into there. All right, so we're gonna switch gears. I mean, it's thundering. I want to get everything inside. My good truck's out and everything, so that's a good sign of storm's coming. So let's get the floor cleaned up and then we'll get everything back in its place, you know, kind of deal. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. Let me get this swap out. I'll get back to you. See you in a second. All right, so that sounds like a pretty good storm coming in. I got everything in, as you know, because you just watched it fast. I got the stuff that I need, except for the adapter, which I don't know where that is. Let's see. Yeah, I got this here, and I'll just drop that to a 1/4 inch, and that'll work just fine. All right, just got to put these three little screws in, get this thing lined up first. See what I got here. I think I can see that one. Oop. No. There's that one. There we go. Alright, so that's back in. It's like having air conditioner out here. Woo, feels good. Man, it is hot. The air feels good. All right, water that grass. Still haven't put gutters on, so I need to do that. That's a different episode though. All right, so it definitely got crazy. I don't know what's going on. Big storm, lots of rain. I do like that drain there is catching that water though, boy. It's really catching it out. I bet you if you go back there, that pipe is just blowing out back there. But yeah, really good storm. Pouring down. Coming from the north too. So that's unusual as well. Usually comes from the west. Definitely hear it in here, can you? Wow. I'll put this on time lapse so you don't have to hear this rain and watch me do this load. This little thing is driving me crazy. It keeps popping out, that little corner rubber. It's a pain to get in and out, but you know, it's getting old. I'm getting old. We're getting old together. But there we go. We got her on. I'm going to check the tail lights. You guys wouldn't mind watching that for me. Make sure they work. All right, so that's pretty much it for now. I still got to get the tint off the windows. I should have. Well, I don't should have. I need to get this done, but I need to put it outside in that heat to work on getting that tint off more. They say if you put it up in the heat, it'll really cook up and it'll come off easier. So I'm going to try that. It's definitely been hot enough for that project. So I'll get that out there in the heat probably tomorrow if it doesn't rain. and see if I can get that tin stripped off. And then I need to get drums and rotors and all that stuff. So I need to get that stuff on order or get it from the store. I think we'll knock that project out real soon so I can get this bad boy back on the road. I don't like using my good truck to take all the weed eaters and all that stuff up to my dad's. I'd really rather use this, even though it uses more gas. I don't want to put miles on my new truck, or my newer truck. So yeah, and I got a little young boy, 12 years old or whatever, 14 maybe, that's been working with me, worked today with me already. And I'd like to do a little more projects with him and stuff, but I don't want to get him jumping in and out of my good truck dirty too, you know. So we can do more together if I have this running. So anyway, that's where I'm kind of at with this. Good morning, YouTube. Hey, it's early on a Friday. Yesterday was a good day. We went up and did my dad's, me and the kid in the neighborhood that I've been hanging out with. Went up and mowed my granddad's grass, steam cleaned their carpets up in a couple rooms, and that was a good day. We came back, fixed a rock wall for a lady, and I did the driveway for some people. I'll probably try to get some film of that later. It's not done yet. Anyway, today we're back on the Dodge, and I got brakes and bearings and rotors. So we're gonna knock this out today. All right, now this whole system is a little different than most vehicles that I know of anyway. The bearings actually go in front of the disc, so you actually have to take the bearing assembly off of the truck and then slide the disc on the back side of that, and then you have to shove the studs, wheel lug studs, through and knock them in on the back side. These are Detroit axles, and I'm actually super ecstatic about them. Except for they're made in China, but all of them are. It's all, you can't find American. Anyway, Detroit axle. I was really impressed with them because they were mid-range priced, well, half the price of like the dealer or like Timken or something like that. But they came with lugs. That's like $50 right there. I mean, so that makes these like 120 bucks, which is a steal, I think. If they didn't come with lugs, it was still a good deal. And I really like them. They seem pretty quality. We'll see how they last over the years. This truck tears up the front ends. I don't understand it. I've done this before. I've replaced everything on the front end, steering stabilizer. I mean, I do that anyway often, but all the front joints and all that stuff. And I still get a little wobble here and there. It drives me crazy. So yeah, about every time I do rotors, I do bearings. Anyway, thank goodness they're not overly priced. Yeah, so let me get busy on this. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about as I go, and then yeah, we'll move on to the next job or whatever after that. So let me get going. I need to wake up. Coffee. This side doesn't look too bad, really, to be honest with you. I mean, the brakes are about gone, but I don't see a bunch of wobble in it. Hopefully it's fine. There it goes. One there at the top and one there at the bottom. There we go. You got a grinder, it doesn't come out. was right at the end of my shoes, for sure. I think it's been probably 2 years since I put brakes on it. So we'll get this mess put away. That side actually had quite a bit. This side was done. So just in time, but I'm not trying to save these rotors, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but don't want to die either. Trick to this to pull it as an assembly, which you have to pull it as assembly because you can't pull the bearings out on this. The bearings are made to stay sealed, so it's an assembly. So you have to pull this to change the rotors no matter what you do, but you don't have to change the bearing if you don't want to. But there's 4 bolts on the back. They're 14 millimeter, and you can see it's way. This one's way. Probably trying to find it without looking. It's right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll try to get a shot of it. You can probably definitely see better than me because I can't even see it, but there you go. I got the socket on there. There's one there, and then 2 on this other side. But you pull those, and I leave about 1/3 of the thread on there, and I see if I can pull it. Sometimes it comes off, sometimes it don't. But if it doesn't, then you put your little socket extender in there, and you put it up against the bearing, or the bearing assembly, and then you turn the wheel slowly. I mean, you get somebody to hold it. I usually just do a little bit, put this in there till it stays in there, and then turn the wheel. And it will literally use the hydraulics of the steering then to push the bearing out if you get stuck. And that is a good trick because sometimes you ain't beating it out of there. I mean, they get stiff. And if you're reusing the bearings, you definitely want to do it that way because you don't want to be beating on those bearings, you know, because you'll be knocking that assembly apart. So. Yeah, anyway, let's get these loose and see what we got. Like I said, I change them so often, it seems like I probably should be able to get them apart, but the first time I did it, oh, it was miserable, and I didn't know what to do. And I just kept working on it, and then I figured it out, but what a mess, you know. Of course, those were the days before YouTube, and you had to ask people that had knowledge. You couldn't just type it in and pull it up. Google's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Or YouTube's a wonderful thing. Or it can be. I don't want to say it's always, but it can be a wonderful thing. Oh, yeah. Those were shot tight. Yeah. Probably a little looser than it should have been. They're just a pain to find, you know. And then the socket doesn't fit in there that well either on these. Such an angle on some of them. Alright, now I cleaned these off, just the surface areas on these, just so they wouldn't sit funny. But next thing to do is the way I do it. You can do it any way you want it, but I put these little lugs through here, and then I just kind of let them hold the bracket, this metal bracket that I got to put on here. They just kind of hold it so it doesn't, the bracket doesn't fall. If you have 2 people, somebody can hold the bracket while you put it in, but I don't have 2 people, so. I as one person, I should have brought the kit down that I'm working with. He probably needs to know how to do this actually. but I didn't. So something's got to hold these brackets on while you put the rest of it together. And then I found also that when you push these together, it just lines that bearing up. Even though it doesn't go in, they hit those holes, so it kind of lines them up pretty good. It helps out doing it this way. Let me get my dirty paws off this. Don't want that on the surface of the brake pad for sure. Alright, so now we just got to lift this sucker up, put it up here, and then we'll bolt her in. Got some of this mess down here. Sliding it up, smashing the end into the concrete. Alright, now it's just a matter of breaking your back. And you got to get the spline. This will push in, by the way, it does push in, so when you get it on there, it'll push in quite a bit. If you keep it lined up, hopefully it'll just slide back in, we'll see. I may have to work on it a little bit. Alright. Here. It's heavy. Find the splines, push her forward. All right, now when it comes to torquing these down, then the nuts, mine for my model, they're all way different, by the way, way different. Mine's 175 foot-pounds. I'll be honest with you, I still do it the old school way. I'm going to torque it because I'm on camera and whatever, but that's what you should do. But when I normally do them, I crank them down and then I back it off a little bit, just a bit, and then I just push the bearing around. If it flows fine, I'm fine, and then I just check it. But the reason I got to that point was these things are known for death wobble, and when I first did it and torqued it, I still had wobble, and I just kept playing with that bearing until, when I was all done by hand, I just kept feeling it until whatever, and I got rid of some of that death wobble. And it seemed like it was always dragging at 175 foot-pounds, and like it was too much on it or something, I don't know. So anyway, I'll go ahead and torque it. I'll watch it after this too, though, because if it's anything like last time, I'll end up adjusting it again if it feels like it's dragging. So, what can you do, huh? All right, give it another whirl. All right, so she's plenty. She's plenty. All right, but again, I mean, if I'm totally honest, I have to move it because it's in the pin way. But again, to be totally honest, when I do it myself, I just do it all by hand. I'm gonna have to crank on it just a little bit more to get it past that pin. Now, just don't want it to be too tight, May have to back it off a little bit. Now it's in there now, so we'll just go with that. But like I said, just be careful with these on these front ends, they're so touchy, they're so finicky about this death wobble thing. Anyway, you'll figure it out the way you want to figure it out. I've tried just about everything on this thing to keep the front end from shaking, and I'll actually get it for a while, but then no matter what I do, it always comes back. And I mean, I've replaced everything on the front a couple different times, and it never really stops. All right, so that's good. Let's get on with the brakes, put the brake pads on, and we'll slide that caliper back on there, we'll bolt her back down. We're in pretty good shape. Yeah, all before it gets too hot. I'm liking it. Get this off my little coat hanger before, putting this, snapping these ones on are a little tougher than the other ones. These ones just kind of pop in there. The other side is a pain. It's good though. I mean, it's a good system. It's just a pain. Just slide over these humps. It actually has some grooves in there to push it on, right there, to make it go in. But you got to catch them. That one's got a little knot on the other side. This one's got a little rivet right there in the way. That's unusual. Oh man, I don't know who's calling now, but you're gonna have to wait. These are a little bit of a pain. They have these little grooves for you, but these little blocks fit in little grooves on the back side, and you don't get them right. There we go. They do pop in, but if you don't get them right, they don't work good. It's pretty much the thing. I think if you don't get it right, it don't work good. Some of the things I say are I make myself laugh. See, is that right? Yeah. I don't twist that line anymore than I have to. The line don't seem right. Let me flip this around or something. See what I can do here. I don't remember it flipping like that. Let's go this way. There you go. There we go. Not too far. And we just applied our 2 bolts back on. I'm gonna have to clean this camera when I get down here covered in grease. You died on me there. We're almost done. Stay alive for a little longer. God, I gotta figure out what I do with the wrench. I had to go save you. I've lost the wrench. Is it still in there? No? No, yeah, it's still in there. I'm like trying to find this wrench. You might not even be able to see. It might be too dark in here for you to even see what I'm doing, but just tightening these 2 bolts back that hold the brake shoes on, or the brake cylinders on. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're in good shape. We are in good shape. All right, that's a lot better. I had to clean up. I had stuff everywhere, tools and everything, so I needed to get the floor clean. But I didn't want to put the tire on and then put the tire down on that mess and then have it smash it into my concrete. So I cleaned it up pretty good. There's still a little bit of grease down there I'll have to wipe up, but yeah, time to put the wheel back on and then close this back up. I do have to take a little bit of fluid out of the container up here. We're a little over full now, so I'll get something to suck some of that out of there. But other than that, we're in good shape. So let me just clean the grease off the floor here real quick. I'll roll the tire on, put it on, put my little hubcap on, and we'll be good to go. Good to go. of you are probably thinking that I'm over torquing, and I'm not. I am pulling them hard, but I'm pulling that stud in a little more, right? So there may be a little gaps behind those studs that I banged in. This pulls them the rest of the way out. All right, I'm all cleaned up now. Well, I'm not cleaned up, but I got my hands clean and I cleaned the garage up. So we will go test drive this sucker out and see what she does. All right, let's get this thing out here and see what she does. Seems to stop okay so far. So it seems like we have a little pull to the right here when I'm doing this. So when I hit the brakes right here, she just pulls just a little bit to the right. I'm not sure what's causing that, so we're gonna have to figure that out. But she does definitely stops. I don't like that it pulls. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. But she definitely has brakes and she definitely stops. But she definitely pulls to the right. See, watch. Definitely pulling to the right there, right when you hit it. We're gonna have to check that out, figure out what that is. All right, let's take her back to the garage, see what we can find out.